What's happening, guys? This is James Milan with MMOHuts.com, this time with an epic list of games that we're super hyped about for 2014. And believe it or not, there are actually a lot of really good titles hitting the market this year. And to think, we were actually excited for 2013. And then it turned out that half of the games that we were excited for then either haven't come out yet, flopped, or went pay to play. So this year, we've made it a point to show you guys games that we have a pretty strong feeling will at least be in a public beta by the end of the year and are at least 78.6% sure are not going pay to play. Now, these are games that we're excited for or at least curious about, so the rankings, you could say, are a little bit flexible. But there were enough to make a list of 20, so starting out this list off at number 20, Dawngate. As we've already talked about in the past, 2013 was the year of the MOBA, and Dawngate was one of those games that helped us call it that. But that doesn't at all mean that we can't look forward to some MOBAs that try and change up the rules a bit. Dawngate also happens to be one of those type of games. And it's beyond just calling the heroes and towers something different, I promise. Waystone Games' whole objective with the game is to feel familiar while offering new ideas, and from their 2-lane map, interesting spirit well system as a way to help or hinder an overall economy of the match, a huge raid boss type titans that fight back strong for both teams, I'd say they've done that well enough to keep their players coming back flooding the servers when their beta is up and live. After a year of copycat MOBAs, Dawngate did well enough to shine through, and we're excited to see where this game goes in the future. Next up at number 19, we have Nosgoth. If you're looking for an action-packed battle between humans and vampires with the dark and violent artistic style of God of War crossed with 300 set in the Legacy of Kain universe, then you might be interested in Nosgoth. The dynamic differences between the classes in this game is crazy, with huge customization options, and even though the game is currently in closed alpha, the gameplay looks incredible. Almost as an improvement upon a figurative hybrid between Forge and Panzer. Watch 3 minutes of gameplay for this game and try to tell yourself this game doesn't have potential. For all the MMO FPS fans out there, Extraction lands in at number 18. Honestly, we've been waiting for some of the upcoming Nexon games to make an appearance outside of G-Star, so when the Nexon booth at Last PAX Prime boosted a previously unannounced shooter, Extraction, backed by the well-received Splash Damage Studio, we were too surprised to do any coverage beyond just playing it for fun. And even in its early alpha state, it was fun. Now, what sets it apart from the barrage of shooters in 2012 and 2013 is its intensive focus on analyzing players in various situations to provide fair and balanced matchmaking, combined with the unique roles allowing players to serve a role in the team-oriented environment that they feel most comfortable playing in. Extraction is breaking the mold and pushing the limits of customization, teamwork, and game mode variety for the genre. So are we excited? Hell yeah! Next up, we got a game that we got a chance to take a look at not too long ago. Number 17 is Our Kingdom. Okay, so they didn't do much groundbreaking work on the action combat that MMO players are now addicted to, but it does offer up some advancements to the typical companion and even skill systems that we're used to seeing, taking Pokemon gathering and acrobatic MMO animations to the next level. The game flew through closed beta and open beta with enough interested players clogging up the servers to open up a third. And if they can keep the cash shop clean of power, we can expect to see Our Kingdom continue to draw in more and more fans throughout 2014. War Thunder's Ground Forces rolls in at number 16. Yeah, so this one's a little bit hard to categorize. It's a game in closed beta within a game that is still in beta itself. Gameception, if you will. So Ground Forces is an extension to War Thunder and a direct competitor to World of Tanks, and the idea behind this is to eventually do what I thought Wargaming would be doing by now, which is tying the battles in the air with the battles on land and eventually the battles at sea. And even though the game is still in an early closed beta, the graphics and gameplay already look great using a much more advanced engine than its competition. So needless to say, there's going to be an even bigger fight between historical combat warfare games coming this year. And speaking of strategy, sorta, number 15 is Hearthstone. Now, I've got to admit, I didn't think a TCG was going to be Blizzard's big reveal at PAX East, but on the other hand, we're glad it was. Focusing on crisp gameplay, adding plenty of action-packed elements into a simple but not oversimplified card game, Blizzard without a doubt delivers a fun, competitive game for anybody to be able to pick up and play. And I'm willing to bet Hearthstone would impress players who would typically cringe at the idea of a TCG. They tend to go beyond the strategy of the card game itself with various game options like PvE elements, the arena along with trading options, and just plain fun dialogue. I can say it would be cool to see them add in more of the Blizzard universe beyond just Warcraft, like StarCraft maybe, and we might actually see that in a later expansion. But it's also awesome that they don't plan on holding back when it comes to releasing the game on iOS. No doubt curious to see how this game pans out. Likewise, this next game offers its own unique experience. Number 14 is Hex, Shards of Fate. Labeling Hex as just another TCG is a mistake that too many gamers we talk to make. First off, if it was just another TCG, the experience that Cryptozoic brings to the genre alone would make it legendary. But now, with 759% of their Kickstarter goal reached, they have all the resources at their disposal to build a fully fledged MMORPG experience, including explorable world maps, epic dungeons, guild and faction functionality, and cash tournaments. This game is basically all the glory of a AAA MMORPG, with all the lovable elements of a well-made strategic card game replacing the boring MMO combat systems of the past. With the Founder Alpha already well underway, Hex will be reaching the public way before 2014 comes to a close. Number 13 on the list is the mighty quest for epic loot. You could say this game offers a nice humorous twist to free-to-play games. Not only are you building up your castle to keep out your constantly attacking neighbors, but at the same time no pile of loot can ever be too gigantic. Therefore, no treasure is as sweet as the one you stole off your neighbor. This game offers nice harmony to attack and defend action RPGs. And at first they didn't quite have a grasp on a fair business model, but after they got that handled, we had a blast playing the game even at an early state. So later on, when they add more loot, more classes, and even crazier defenses, this game will be an even bigger hit at launch. And at number 12 on the list, Strife. We think Strife deserves plenty of attention as the first second-generation MOBA, and by this we mean that its developer, S2 Games, has already made all the amateur mistakes most MOBA games that were first to the market made, and can now learn from them when building Strife from the ground up. Their approach is addressing the major constraints and limitations of MOBAs, and they're focusing from the start to reduce toxicity in their map design, hero flexibility, and a special karma voting system which, while separate, might not seem like much, but orchestrated together is bound to provide a happier gaming session. Customization seems to be a core focus overall, as they're going with quality over quantity, allowing you to set up a smaller batch of heroes with pets, crafted talents and items, and build styles that allow you to take a rigid hero kit and expand it into something more flexible and unique to you. Do we think they're crazy for trying it? Yep. But it's okay, because we'd rather see some innovation in the genre rather than the repeat of the 6 years of WoW clones the MMORPG genre experienced. A lot of you might not know this next one, but number 11 is Swordsman Online. Swordsman Online is the quintessential theme park counterpart to Snail Games' Age of Wushu. Where Age of Wushu focused heavily on freedom and crafting, Swordsman Online pushes production value and graphics while immersing players into a story world based on a series of actual Chinese novels. So if your idea of a good time in an MMORPG is finding rare hidden skills, living a story, and rising to the top in brutal PvP, Swordsman Online fits the bill. And with just about every other Wuxia-related title coming stateside being utter trash lately, Swordsman Online doesn't look like it's going to disappoint, and with Perfect World Entertainment backing it, you can rest assured that valued content updates should continue far past its launch date. If you're looking for hardcore PvP competition, this next game's got it. Number 10 is Magicka Wizard Wars. Okay, so this game may not tickle everyone's pickle, but I can say nowhere else can you get a game with so many on-the-fly spell combinations, or even where the actual challenge of the game is to come up with spells fast enough to not only counter your enemies, but to also kill them first. It takes crazy skill, believe me. And this guy has it. I logged in the other day to see what's new and recorded this guy going up against the entire team. He's basically countering 3 other players' ability to come up with a crazy barrage of random spells. It's a great game if you're willing to tone down your desire to rage quit. You can't wait to see it with more game modes, cloaks, and other items. After all, the game is still in early alpha. Planning to hit the market with a strange business model, number 9 is Black Gold Online. Black Gold Online has an impressive 2-faction PvP system that includes unique vehicles and epic large-scale server wars that should keep the competition hot from the get-go. Like I've said in the past, I love the nature versus steampunk theme, and seeing it at E3, it was almost like 2 games tied in the middle. An innovative Black Gold time business model means that the game will be free to play, but players will have the option of paying for rare materials based on their playtime. Kinda curious to how that'll work out. And I'm also looking forward to seeing some impressive battles as the game rolls live for North America, even though from the trailers, it kinda looks like it could be called Avatar Online. If it pleases the gods, number 8 is SMITE. If you think SMITE has already launched, then think again. Just like other big-name MOBAs, SMITE has come a long way since we first started playing it. It's hard to believe it already has 48 gods, not to mention they've reworked several already, and over time added in 6 game modes. I've got to say, they were one of the first MOBAs to truly bring innovation to the genre with the whole third-person perspective, and actually make it work. Yeah, we know it's been in forever beta for over a year already, but they've got plenty more to add before they actually launch this coming March. They've got new variants on the arena mode, a complete rework of the domination mode they just took out temporarily, even an experimental 10v10 matchup, all planned for the official launch. Things are looking good for SMITE this year. This next one looks great if you're not too worried about thinking it copied Cube World. Number 7 is Trove. Voxels is a relatively new term for free-to-play games, capable of making a world entirely destructible. Trove is a new game from Tryon Worlds trying to capture the Minecraft and Cube World audience with a combination of player-created content and story-driven gameplay, all at the same time. It'll be interesting to see just how the developers plan to keep their fully buildable and destructible worlds in recognizable conditions with tons of players in the same area, but that's part of what makes us want to check it out later on this year. Curiosity. And if they can pull it off, it means that other developers can do the same thing for games to come. This next game may just take the MOBA genre by surprise. Number 6 is Heroes of the Storm. What would be a more perfect way to combine all the heroes from some of the best games ever made? No wonder they started to call it Blizzard All-Stars, or before that,
Blizzard Dota.
The game was recently re-announced with huge changes to a lot of traditional concepts. Games that are trying to be what everyone likes to call the next generation MOBA need to really pay attention close to this one. They're starting out with several battlegrounds, each with their own environmental challenges and obtainable objectives that can help put the odds in your favor. Where most MOBAs have a jungle, this game has layers that will surely change up the strategy. Not to mention being able to play as any of the Blizzard heroes while customizing their talents and even being able to select your own ultimate. We could go on and on about this one, but you get the idea. This game is gonna rock. We honestly didn't expect to see this one stateside this year, but number 5 is Black Desert Online. Details have actually been pretty scarce and spread out in large intervals since its development began in 2010, but with the English localization officially underway and the Korean betas happening right now, the torrent of footage and details have begun to trickle through. Black Desert Online is essentially the theme park MMO gamer's not-so-scary introduction to the world of sandbox gaming. Players can still experience the standard grind for power, NPC questing, standard crafting, and faction PvP they're used to currently. Only now the level cap isn't solid, players aren't bound to attack their faction or even be allied to a faction, and towns, as well as entire castles, can be bid on for purchase by players, and built and defended in intense guild versus guild battles that seem to feature huge numbers of NPC supporters to make for that epic Lord of the Rings style siege combat. The graphics and weather system combined with a variety of 8 classes spread between 3 races are enough to wow even the most jaded MMO gamer. Though we're not 100% sure you'll get your hands on this gem in 2014, we're sure it'll be worth the wait when it finally gets here. Number 4 is Blade and Soul. Gets me every time. Blade and Soul is an MMORPG that attempts to throw traditional MMO combat out the window by introducing a slew of fighting game elements to create a battle system that will put your reflexes to the test. And along with Hoon Tai Kim's legendary art design and an epic story of betrayal and revenge, Blade and Soul is a unique title unlike any other, with some amazing character customization, if you know what I'm saying. While NCSoft may have gone silent for over a year regarding the English release of Blade and Soul, according to an interview by Hoon Tai Kim himself, English Blade and Soul should be seeing a release sometime this year, so plenty of gamers be keeping their eye out for that, for at least one reason or the other. Number 3 on our list is none other than ArcheAge. With so many varied and unique titles potentially launching in 2014, it really wasn't easy choosing the best. Even when we put it into a blind vote, ArcheAge tied for first. And with good reason. It's set to bring both innovation and realism in the boatload to an otherwise stale genre. ArcheAge separates its player base by language barriers and vast distances, and then tasks them with building an economy and governing body that's entirely up to them to run. Players into crafting will fall in love with the plethora of options, and guild managers will love the challenge of coordinating caravans to transport goods to consumers in dangerous open PK worlds. And the rest of us will just love beating the hell out of each other in player-designed fortress battles and high-sea naval assaults. With character customization pushing past anything to ever grace the MMORPG market, we're all waiting to see if Tryon can shake the foundations of the industry with this epic title. These final 2 games were meant to be together, so that's what we did, we put them together. Number 1 and number 2 is EverQuest Next and EverQuest Next Landmark. I'm pretty sure we've not yet experienced what truly could be the epitome of open world sandbox MMOs until we actually get a chance at EverQuest Next. SOE has come up with some concepts in this game that I can't quite put into reality just yet. Voxel-based destructible worlds, player-created content, dynamic events that generate a life of consequence, as Dave Georgeson likes to call it, that ties closely into his vision of permanent change, and one of my favorites, emergent AI, where everything in the world is tagged and the AI respond to everything around them based off a system of likes and dislikes. All this, and they still plan to provide players with all that passion, lore, and feeling of Norath, all that EQ nostalgia, but with new stories, player-driven stories. And if that wasn't enough, they hit us with an entirely separate games. I mean, the developers essentially put the majority of the tools used to create EQ Next into Landmark for the players to use to create elaborate content for themselves, as well as for EQ Next. I could see having hours of fun building a world in Landmark alone, based on how easy it seems to create some really amazing structures. So, should this duo of titles succeed, we may be looking at the birth of a new titan on the MMO landscape, free-to-play or not. Literally a culmination of over a decade of game design evolution upon innovation. They've done it in the past with the original EverQuest, and they might just do it again. And that's honestly what we're hoping for. So yeah, easily our most anticipated games for 2014. And with that, honestly, it looks like this year is going to be one of the better years for the free-to-play MMOs we've seen in a while. And on top of all these badass games we're excited for, we're actually hoping to see several pop up that we weren't expecting. The heat is definitely on with the rise of the new consoles, so who knows. Until then, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description below for more details on the games featured in this list. And for now, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.